Hi there, this is Sue, and I am here to tell you all about how to turn your wonderful Loftus bra pattern from using an all-over lace to a Galloon lace. So let's get started out doing a little bit of a pattern modification to a couple of the pieces. The pieces that we want to do a pattern modification are our inner cup. And so this edge right here is the edge with the elastic. And to make it easy for you, what we're going to do is actually change this pattern piece so that the elastic can still go on and you can see your beautiful Galloon edge. So to do that, I'm going to actually just make a line, draw a line from the inside of my seam allowance here to the inside of my seam allowance here, use a ruler and make a mark, then cut that off. And so this then becomes my new pattern piece for my lace. And so this is where I'll put the Galloon edge of my lace, is right here along this red line. And if you look at the way that they'll lay together, is that they're just going to lay right on top of each other like this. And we have plenty of space for our elastic to turn under, and also for us to stitch that elastic down, and it doesn't mess with our lace in any way. So that's the first thing you're going to do, is make a pattern adjustment if you want to use the Galloon lace on the inside cup or the inner cup of your Loftus bra. A second place where you can put lace is on the center panel. It's called the insert, the center insert. And so here's my pattern piece for the center insert. And this is the edge that goes between the two cups. So this is the neckline edge. And so for me, I tend to use this without any modifications. But to be safe, you can actually cut off your seam line at the top. So it would look like this one, where I don't have a seam line at the top, and I'm going to use this as my placement for my Galloon lace. So let's go ahead and start getting some laces out here and use them to cut, or use our various pattern pieces in order to cut out our bra. We're going to start out here with this beautiful Patsy lace. And in this case, we've got what seems to be a relatively random pattern. And so I'm going to place my pattern piece right here so that the edge of my new lace pattern piece is right along the lowest pieces of my lace. And then I will cut out along here. And so I have actually done that, and I have it here. So this is my piece that has been cut. Then I'm going to take this piece, which I have previously cut, and then I'm going to find the exact matching pattern elsewhere on the lace. And so if we look right here, if I stack them on top of each other, of course, excuse me, we're going to want to do this upside down and inside out. So we're going to put it so that it is wrong sides or right sides together here. So that's not a good piece of and here we go. This is right sides together. So here's my match point. And then I'm going to cut this out using my lace pattern piece as the template or as my pattern piece, so that it is going to, when I put it on my garment, it'll be balanced and mirrored. And so I have done that previously. And if we look at it, here are my pattern pieces. This is one cup, and this is the second cup. Now you'll notice that I'm doing this with the size 52J, so that I can show you that no matter what size it is, you have enough lace. Let's make sure you can see it. You have enough lace in order to do whatever you want to do on your pattern. So it doesn't matter that it's not an all-over lace, but rather that it's a Galloon lace. You can definitely still use it for all of the styles here at Bra Builders. So let's go ahead and start looking at some specific laces. This lace here is called Briar Rose, and this is what is known as a mirrored lace. So if I look at my lace here, this is my right side, and if I look at this one, this is also a right side, but it's a different piece altogether of the lace. And the reason that we do that, we do mirroring, is so that when I cut it out, for example, these little leaves are always pointing up. So if I cut that out on my out of my pattern piece, I would cut it out so that all of my little leaves are going up. Now, if I did two of them on the same lace, on one side of the cup, my little leaves would be going up, and on the other side of the cup, if I mirrored it properly, just on one side, my little leaves would be going down. And so for a lace that has pattern on both sides, you can oftentimes just use the same piece of lace. For something like this, where you, instead of it being everywhere and you just have embroidery along one side, you want to get that mirroring piece. So now then, let's take a look at this and lay our lace out on the on this cup. And so if I were to use my center, do a center cup treatment, then here's my lace pattern piece. I'm going to put this underneath so that you can see what I'm doing. I'll put my lowest point of my lace along that red line right there. I like the way this is because, see, my low point of my lace is here, and also my low point of my lace is there. That's going to make everything just a little bit easier, and these are going to sneak right onto the cup. I like that. I would cut it out like this, and then I would take my pattern piece and I would go to my mirrored piece, flip it upside down, and place my new pattern piece right on top of the pattern so that it matches perfectly. So that's how I would lay this one out. A second thing we might want to do with this lace is to put lace on our center insert panel. And so here is my center insert pattern piece right here. And this is my lace pattern piece. And so I'm going to cut this out. And now I've got lace that's going to be going right on top of my, my center insert. One of the things that can be fun and can give you some interesting style effects is to try and match your pattern. So I might say, oh, I want this pattern, the center of my flower, to be right on my seam line, so that half of the center is on this piece and half of my center is over here on this piece. So I'm going to place my little center right there along the seam line and cut that out. And then I'll flip it over and use the other piece of lace on the exact same pattern piece. So that's a way that you can work with this. Now, in some cases, you might have a lace that has more than one feature to it. And so if we look at this lace, let's turn it the right side up. This lace has two different feature elements on the lace. The first feature that we can see, and it's pretty obvious, is this beautiful rose border here. And so this beautiful rose border can be used very nicely to be kind of a highlight, either along the edge of the cup, that inner cup, or else along the top of the top insert. And so I can then do the same thing I did previously, lay this out right where I want it. Let's say I wanted to go halfway through that pink flower. So I would do that. I'm doing this now on top instead of underneath on this one. And then I would flip it over and mirror it on the other side. And by the way, something that I would do also when I did this is I would use some spray adhesive. This is temporary spray adhesive, KK2000, but I'm sure there are other products out there. And I would use this on the back of my piece of lace, and I would stick that right onto my fabric. So you start out, you sew your fabric on the center insert. You would sew your two pattern pieces together with your fabric. Then you would sew your two lace pieces or you would do your two center pieces together, and then you would use a little bit of spray adhesive on the back of your piece of lace. You would stick your piece of lace right on top, do a little edge stitching all the way around, and now you're using it as a single piece. We would do something similar for our inner cup. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can do the inner cup. One way is just as we did before. I'll just slide this under so we can see what the lace pattern is doing for us. So I'm going to place this here, and now I'm featuring this on my inner cup. But we have this other part of the lace here in the middle, and so I'm going to go back to my original pattern piece, not my lace pattern piece. And instead of capturing that beautiful edge, I'm going to actually contrast it by using this very pretty wisty kind of pattern in the middle. So let's say that I use this part, and in this case, I can cut the entire pattern piece out. I can use a little bit of spray adhesive on here and attach and stick my lace right onto my pattern, or right onto my fabric, edge stitch all the way around it, and then use it just as a single piece. And now I have just a lace overlay all together on that center insert. So you can use this part of the lace. I'm going to show you how to do that on another one as well. So that's how I would be using this lace. I'd still be focusing in on the center of the bra, but I would sometimes I would use the wisty stuff on the center insert and this edge on the outer, on the inner cup. And then sometimes I might use this dramatic piece on the center insert, and then this kind of wispy piece here on my inner cup. So that's two different ways that you can use the lace, and I think they're both really, really beautiful. And you can see some of the mock-ups that we've done that can show you exactly how that's going to look. I'm going to now show you how to use a Galloon lace to get a full lace overlay look. I got to make sure this is on the right side. Oh, that's the right side of this fabric, or this lace. Laces are considered fabrics. This lace is not a structural part of your garment, so you don't actually have to pay any attention at all to your grain line, because it's just going to be laying on top of your fabric. It's not doing any work. And so just use whatever grain line you want to use in order to get the right lace placement that you want for your garment. On this lace, which is called Sunburst, we're going to do a few different things. This is one where we've got kind of a random looking pattern all the way around. So I can either feature my big flowers on the side, or I can just let them blend into the overall look of the lace. If I was going to feature those flowers, I would use my lace piece and make sure I get that Galloon edge. Again, I'd mirror it around, because right now the star of the show in this one are these big flowers. I'd flip it around and mirror it, fuse this onto my fabric, edge stitch all the way around it, treat it as one part. Or alternatively, I can just say, what a beautiful texture of bright yellow. It's lovely. So I'm going to do a full lace overlay on this one. And so I'm going to focus here on the center part of the lace pattern, and I will cut that out of the center. So this is once again my inner cup piece, but instead of cutting it off for the Galloon, we're just going to use the entire piece like this. So there's that. And then we will lay all of our pieces out. So I will do all of them on one side, then flip them over and do it the other side. If you're using it kind of more random, you don't have to be as particular about flipping them over and matching your pattern. So let's take a look at how our nice big side cut piece is going to work. So here's my side cut piece. And in this case, I'm going to say, well, let me see, what do I want to feature? And so I kind of want to feature, I'm going to pull this down to make sure you can see it. I do want to feature this big flower here on the side. And you can see that I just have just a wee bit of strap over here sticking out. Now I can fuss it around and get pretty much the entire strap underneath there. See, I got the entire strap underneath there because you don't care about your grain lines on this. So now I've got my entire strap under there, or I can leave a little bit of it peeking out like I had before, like that. And by doing that, then I would construct this again, fuse them together with a little bit of temporary spray adhesive, edge stitch it all together, and then I'm going to zigzag right here along this edge, and then I will have this kind of be a pretty feature where we have a little bit of a pattern there going around the on the strap. And you can place that wherever you want, right? So I could place it there, or I could actually change it around a little bit and place it a little further up on the strap. So you can just kind of play around with it because this is on the strap itself. This is going to be at a nice kind of graceful angle, and it'll look beautiful. So you can use that in that way. And again, I'm going to just flip this over and use the other side in order to get the other one cut out. And I will also use my the center cup, or my middle cup, in order to also cut that out. Let me find the pattern piece. Here it is. So here's our middle cup, and I'll slide that under there, and I'll cut 2 of these out also, and spray my lace with adhesives, temporary spray adhesive. Put them together, edge stitch around, treat it as a single piece. And now my bra has the look of lace everywhere. It's got this beautiful, glistening, gorgeous, rich yellow lace all over the entire bra. And on the underneath layer on this one that we've designed is actually this same beautiful saturated yellow called Sunshine. I think you're gonna really like that. So that's how you would do a full lace overlay with a lace that has kind of a filled in pattern like this one does. Now there is another lace that we have, and I think it kind of gives us a little bit of the best of all the different options. And so this is a lace that we have called Eden. You can see that I've already cut out a cup. I'm using the Galloon edge, so I used my lace, on my inner cup, I used the lace pattern piece there. Now I need to go to my mirrored portion of the lace. Here it is. And I want to go right sides together. Make sure that I've got it. So what I have is I've got yellow, blue right there. So that's nice and mirrored. You can see my entire lace pattern is mirrored with this upside down. I'm going to use this in order to cut my second cup out from here. So I would do that. And so now what I have is this really, really beautiful edge as the center point of my bra. I have a second part of this lace. So I've got this beautiful Galloon edge, and then I have kind of these wispy bits over here. And so when I go to do my middle cup, which is right here, I'm actually going to lay this out, deliberately going for those little wispy bits. So it will look like the little wispies are going right across the cup. And then I will finish it up with my side cup piece here. So here's my side cup piece, and I'm going to flip this around so that I allow this side cup to have a little bit of the strong pattern there at the edge. And I can rotate this until I like the way it looks. Like that. I'm going to have a really pretty edge here on my strap, and I might even place that very deliberately. Look at that. I've got that blue flower right there. That'll be really highlighted there. And so this inner part that connects to the wispy part is going to be wispy again. I'm going to go right here into wispiness that gets me into this strong pattern. And then it goes around the bust and you have your strong pattern over here. You can get fussy about this. I could leave the lace loose, sew my seam over here, and then lay this on and have this cover up my seam. That's kind of an advanced skill. You don't need to do that, but you could if you'd like to. Or I can just put this right into my seam allowance. So I could cut it and put it right into my seam allowance. And then what I would have is it would look like about half of that flower going into my, right into my bra. And it could be really, really pretty. So that's another thing that you can do with a lace like this. So, okay. So I hope that you enjoy these Bra Builders kits. I think they're beautiful. And I think you're really going to like this Loftus pattern, especially if you have a lot of curviness, because it's a terrific curvy bra.